Hey everybody, welcome back to We Are Podcast Network. This is We Are Error Season 1, Episode 18, Are Comic Books and Video Games Art? If this is your first time checking out the podcast, thank you so much. Please go to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, or iTunes, and give We Are Podcast a like. And if you get a chance, head over to our social media. All links can be found in the description. We're at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at /We Are Podcast. With that said, on to the podcast.
We are Error.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd fuck my friend's mom. Nope, I take it back. I just said it before. I'd fuck Jamie's mom.
Yep.
Yes, I would.
How hot is Jamie's mom?
Oh my god.
Is she anything like Stacy's mom?
Oh my god. Oh, she would put Stacy's mom to shame.
I don't know, man.
Stacy's mom would see Jamie's mom walk in the room and be
on.
like, no. She'd chase that bitch away. You ever see a hot bitch in a room and then a really hot bitch walks in? You could see them just kind of like, oh.
Yeah. It's like she's out of my league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Evie Green is
Is
so fucking hot.
Yeah. Wasn't she in Star Trek?
Yes.
That's the only
Yes,
thing
she
I
was.
know her from.
And she fucking stripped down to her bra and panties in it.
Oh!
There was really no need for it.
For no reason.
Yeah, just because they're like, hey, she has a rockin' hot body. Let's do it.
Yeah, there was no reason.
Everybody.
You hear like, hey Kirk, he turns around and she's like, whoosh, and I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I think that is the reason, because in the old series, wasn't Kirk a bit of a ladies' man? He made out with all the fucking alien chicks and shit like that.
Everyone,
So,
he'd see him and be like, you, me,
yeah.
let us do it right now.
I have a little bit of Captain Kirk in me, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? He fucked you? Alright, hey everybody, welcome to the We Are Error Podcast. This is Duck, I am here with...
Jake.
And...
The Havs.
And what is the We Are Error Podcast? It is a weekly podcast where we talk about movie news, entertainment, whatever the fuck we want to talk about. And this week, we want to talk about some Super Bowl news!
Oh,
Super Bowl news?
Y'all, did you guys watch it?
No.
I tapped out after the first quarter.
No.
Let me
I sat up and played Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
That's what I ended up doing.
Number one, you were right to do so.
Yeah.
Number two, the game was literally in the middle of the field for 4 fucking quarters. No one moved. It was ridiculous. It was, if you like
That
defensive
game was
football,
brutal.
boom. It was amazing. If you
Game
hate
was
it,
brutal.
yeah, it was not.
And not in a cool, brutal way. It was just straight up brutal
It
to
was,
watch.
it was hard to watch, and on top of that, the reason I watched it wasn't mainly for the football. You guys know me. Come on.
Commercials,
I watched it for the
trailers.
commercials. Here's the problem. They blew their load right away, and then it was a collection of the saddest commercials I've ever seen. Every commercial began with sad piano music, and like the Allstate guy with his deep voice going, "We need a change," and that was every fucking commercial. And this was for the shit that was supposed to be
Even
fun.
last year's Allstate commercial was fucking a bummer.
Dude, they were all sad and depressing, and I think they were just playing off of the Avengers trailer, which was sad and depressing, but it literally set the tone. They did it right off the bat, and every trailer after that was the most depressing fucking thing I've ever seen.
Wow.
And I don't know why. I was just like watching the Super Bowl, and I'm like, where
Even the halftime show I heard was pretty depressing.
Oh,
my
dude,
God, it was
we'll,
awful.
we'll definitely get there. But did you guys watch? You guys watched the Avengers trailer, right? I sent
Yeah.
that to you.
Yeah.
30-second spot. What'd you think?
Pretty exciting.
Yeah,
I really
I like
liked
it.
it.
Yeah. So it was a little bit downtrodden, like
It was
I
a
said.
bit down, but there was, I don't know why, I felt a lot of anger in that trailer for some
Yeah.
reason.
I thought a lot of loss.
I need to watch it again.
I like the beginning of it where they flash through all the people who are dusted. The red, I know a lot of people are just like, oh, it matches the logo. The reality gem, I believe, is red, so maybe that has something to do with that. That's
Yeah,
why they
it
highlight
is.
the redness in there. I like the fact that Rocket made it. I wanted more, but that's the point, is I want more.
Right.
And so whenever I watched that, I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then they did that so quickly at the beginning of the Super Bowl.
I really liked it. It was like super angsty. Like I kind of felt the rage from Cap in that trailer, and I kind of got the feeling that he's not going to make it through the movie.
You don't think?
I think after they bring back everybody from the soul, and everything's like, kind of like undone, I think he's going to. I think someone's going to kill him.
Okay. Jake?
Gives off a feeling of like discord, but there's also a feeling of urgency. Also, like something has to happen to correct what has happened already.
I get the feeling that there's nothing that they can do, and they know it.
A sense of hopelessness as
exactly.
well. Yeah.
There's a theory going around that we thought that everyone was dusted. Do you remember my theory about the parallel universes?
Yes.
Yes, there's a theory going around that kind of plays off of my theory that they are the ones that are dead.
Everybody else is still
It's still
alive.
fine, and they
So
got
it's a lost theory.
so. whenever it was not they got dusted, it literally split.
It's
like
them.
I said.
It's them zoning out as
Exactly.
opposed to the other ones zoning
And
out.
I love the fact that the main people who survived were the original Avengers from the first movie.
Well, you
I
know
thought
what
that
would
was really
make
cool.
sense about that also? Like seeing Scott Lang. Because everybody else got dusted out. At the end of Ant-Man and Wasp, everybody else but Scott got dusted out.
Yeah, and with that, like I said, it's got the group of the original Avengers.
So, the only reason why that theory for me doesn't work, because Star-Lord was like, oh man, he could tell that he was getting done, and then fucking Peter's reaction at the end to getting dusted. So that's the only thing that kind of...
Which is still
skews that
genius
premise.
based upon the fact that his Spidey sense kicked in, and that's why he knew something wasn't right. That was so good. Like, I used to think, how is Spider-Man going to work within this universe? And now I think of that and I'm like, it does not work without Spider-Man.
Right.
And the fact that they made him kind of the Robin to Iron Man's Batman worked genius.
His ward.
They
even called him. He hasn't even asked him, what are you, his ward?
Yeah, that's awesome. Does that mean that Batman exists within the Marvel Universe?
I guess maybe that's like a comic book
No,
character,
a ward is like a young protege to somebody.
like an apprentice.
So... Not Burt Ward. Like he's not talking about Robin.
I do wonder if that city that was in the quantum realm is going to come into play for Endgame.
Dude, when we said about the tardigrades, and he's down in the microverse, and all of a sudden he looks up and the tardigrades come to eat him, and it dusts away. They've got to fucking do that.
The
please,
water bear.
Please steal that idea. And do
that's
that,
fucking great.
Also, Hobbs and Shaw. I don't know if you guys are fans of Fast and Furious.
No, this is the most ridiculous fucking trailer I've seen.
I know. It began, and I did not know what the fuck it was, because he's like, "Oh, I'm a superhuman, and I'm coming to kick ass." And I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then all of a sudden, The Rock showed up, and I'm like, "Okay." And then Jason Statham showed up, and I was like, "I know what the fuck this is." And then they kicked it, but it's so.
They should have just called it like Triple X Part 4 or some shit. Like, that's exactly what it is.
Was
like
muscular men
with future cars and future weapons.
Dude, I was sold. Like, I
have no desire to see that
not,
shit.
Well, I will never pay, and I mean that. I will never pay to watch a Fast and Furious movie. But I will torrent the shit out of it.
It's not a Fast and the Furious movie.
It is. It's a spin-off.
I know, but it's not a Fast and the Furious movie.
Right,
That's the whole fucking thing about it. It's like Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw. No car racing in it whatsoever. It's just like you could have called it anything else. Like, why did it have to be Fast and the Furious?
Should have called it
still
Baldy versus Baldy.
right?
It's kind of it could be Spy versus Spy.
Yeah.
One's black, one's white. Boom,
Right.
Done.
Exactly. Nailed it. We got it.
I guess.
Tongan. Whatever it is.
The last trailer I want to talk about was the Twilight Zone trailer. And I think I sent that
You
to
sent
guys
that to us, yeah.
Yeah, that was... I really appreciated that. When it was happening, I was like, what the fuck is Bama doing on the field? No, I'm just kidding. I literally was just like, oh, I know what this is, because when I saw the spiral above the stadium, I was like, this is motherfucking Twilight Zone. And then, are you guys excited about the Twilight Zone?
That was really good.
So I saw that Jordan Peele is taking Rod Serling's place.
He's
or
the
whatever.
producer of it.
Yeah,
so
I didn't actually see the trailer.
So, halftime show. Adam Levine. Fuck that guy. It was one of the most boring halftime shows I've ever seen. And did you see the big thing that was on online today? Everyone was worried about. How come Adam Levine can show off his titties, but Janet Jackson wasn't allowed? Because he ripped off his shirt in the middle of the halftime show, and people went crazy. Now, either it's people being social justice warriors, or I think they're just trolling the fuck out of it. And I think it's the second one.
It's everything also on top of that.
But people
it's just I wouldn't put it past the fucking SJWs to do this, okay?
Alright, so
but trolls are also awesome at fucking faking SJWs.
That's what I'm saying.
You think would be believable that they would complain about. And the sad fact is, so many people are jumping on that bandwagon because of a troll, so it's not just a troll, it's
gotta be a troll, though. Here's one of them. It says, now I have to explain to my children that Adam Levine has nipples. Right?
like, why are we doing this?
It's just so funny to me. Like,
why?
Because it's ridiculous.
I'm just saying, why the fuck would...
Because it's either trolls or it's real, and I can't tell the difference. It's driving me crazy.
Exactly.
Which is it? Are people really upset about seeing his nipples? I wasn't upset about seeing Janet Jackson's nipple. Were you guys?
Oh. I welcome it.
To go off topic, but somewhat on topic, this this whole shit pisses me off. You heard about the fucking girls joining the Boy Scouts this weekend in Texas? Yeah. Like, they were the first ones that were able to. Not that, I mean, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. It's in the fucking name. Boy Scouts. If the Girl Scouts want to do something that is just as equal, why not update the Girl Scout programs or the fucking Campfire Girls or whatever the fuck they are? Yeah. Why do they have to join the only thing that boys have? Like,
can I join brownies? Because I always wanted to when I was a kid and I was
right.
I wasn't allowed in brownies.
Oh, so then how about boys just make it so that they can do gay shit also?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Literally, they'd be like, oh, we're making, like, when I heard the brownies, I grew up fat, so I'm like, oh, they're cooking shit, right? And they're making desserts. And I got super fucking pumped, and they're like, no, you're not allowed to join us. I was like, but you're making cupcakes and brownies, right?
Sorry, girls only.
And then I was like trying to play...
A man's voice says that also. Sorry, only little girls.
I like the idea of it was the Butch's mom in there. She's like, girls only.
Yeah, with a big bushy mustache like mine also. Though.
Just like
green beret.
Like how my step-grandma had a mustache.
Get out.
I'm not even joking. My step-grandma had a mustache, and I used to look at my brother and go, do you think it tickles... Do you think her mustache tickles Grandpa when they kiss? That's so fucked up.
That's hilarious.
I'm just saying, if step-grandmas can have mustaches, I guess Adam Levine's nipples can be shown. I don't know.
So I think somebody else put it best. If you own a tattoo, hopefully you regret every tattoo you have, thanks to Adam Levine.
Yep. Pretty much.
It looks like he walked into the store and picked everything out of the book. Like, just like, give me the number 13, the number 24, I want the number 48.
And I need them ready by tomorrow. I'm going to the Super Bowl.
Please.
Let's do this.
Steam press them on me. I don't care. How do tattoos work?
Maybe they were just a bunch of those water-based ones where you have the lick and stick'ems.
It probably was. I feel like they added some.
I'm just saying, a bunch of older women wanted to lick and stick Adam Levine. Ugh. I heard it all day today at work. I'm like, oh, he's so hot. And I'm like, really?
Jesus Christ.
What? Adam Levine makes women wet. What do you want?
To be Adam Levine?
Suicide Squad.
Screwed?
I always
this is like the third week in the row.
That's easy for you to say.
Suicide Squad 2 is going to be rebooted. It's not going to have...
Reboot? The squad is going to be rebooted.
It's the Suicide Squad 2. Yeah, it's going to be a total reboot, and they're not using any of the characters from the previous movie, and it's just going to be called The Suicide Squad.
So it's not Suicide Squad 2?
Nope, The Suicide Squad now.
I think just it's the quickest reboot.
Yes.
This has got to be
But it's James Gunn. And most likely he's going to direct it, too.
I think it's probably going to be pretty fucking awesome because you know what he's saying? I can't fix that piece of shit story that I do like. Yeah. I like the blockbuster fucking popcorn movie. But James Gunn, realistically, if he's going to take over the franchise, he's like, I gotta do it from my own vision. We got to start it right. Exactly.
Do you
think
think
Batista going to be the crocodile guy?
No. Why do you want Killer Croc back, man? He sucked.
I'm just saying, that's the only character I could see Dave Bautista being in Suicide Squad.
He's already...
That would make sense, though, because he's not going to be in Guardians, man.
No,
Bane.
He's loyal.
Bane. He's got to be Bane. You bring the villains in,
he would be
Bane.
the perfect Bane.
Dude, you bring
obviously.
Bane in,
a Mexican wrestler. Yeah.
Well, you know. Is he Mexican?
Yeah.
Batista?
Oh, yeah, I'm an idiot. Okay, my bad.
He can rock his character that was in fucking Hotel Artemis.
He's of Hispanic descent. I don't know what he is, but he's Spanish.
He's contracted. He's contracted to be in the third Guardians. He'll be in it.
I've already seen story art with Jason Momoa as Drax, man.
What?
I don't know. Because his whole allegiance to James Gunn during all this shit, I think Disney just might be like, fuck it, we can replace you.
You can't replace him, dude. He is
the fucking like they all steal the scene.
Yeah,
every single one of them though. That whole fucking cast is fucking brilliant.
But seriously, like Batista's the shit in those movies.
He's one of my favorite characters from the movies.
From the first movie I was watching, I was like, man, I don't think I like his acting, and he's kind of you know, I don't know.
You know what won me over?
Sorry. No, go ahead.
The scene at the end of the first one, whenever they're walking through and Groot had lit up the place with the fireflies or whatever from his fucking embers, and Drax is talking about how this dumb tree, he's my friend.
Yeah.
The stupid rodent, he's my friend.
Yeah.
He's like this green whore. She's just like, that's enough!
No, you're not
then
right,
Nebula
though.
shows up, he blasts the shit out of her after she says some rude shit to fucking Gamora, and he's like, nobody talks to my friends like that. Like, you know, like
he was the shit. And like I said, for me, his acting was stilted, or I didn't like his line delivery. And then once you realize that's the character, it fucking kills it. And like
works.
I watched that movie, and his charisma, the way, just everything about him, just fucking everyone in that movie just sold.
He's really great at with little lines that like are barely noticeable by any other
little one-offs.
Little one-offs.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
like fucking Infinity War.
Infinity War when Matthew's like, we take names and kick bubblegum or something like that. Darcy goes, yeah, that's right. And I just thought that shit so hilarious.
I was like, were you listening to anything? He's like, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Just like,
see, he's just the shit. And one of my favorite things was before Guardians of the Galaxy came out. Of course, it was a big gamble for them. No one really knew the characters. Kevin Feige came out and he said, "This is going to be our Ghostbusters." And I'll be goddamn it if that's not their Ghostbusters.
It. Fucking nailed 100%. It, man.
Like he was
when did
so
it come out?
Right.
It came out like in November of 2015, close to Christmas. Because I remember seeing it in the theaters and then going to see it again at Christmas. I told my brother, who's just a big Marvel fan as us, but you know he's kind of on the back side. He didn't really read it. Like I kind of taught him everything about it. But I was like, dude, we got to go see this fucking movie on Christmas. And he's like, God damn it if it's not like his favorite movie out of all.
Oh, it's shit. That's what I'm saying. I like that little diatribe we got on. That was pretty nice. So we think James Gunn will actually do pretty decent at the Suicide Squad, right?
I think Suicide Squad will be pretty good.
I'm excited about it. Also, Affleck is out of The Batman. I like how they're just putting the at the beginning of every movie.
Because that's the name of the film, but Robert Pattinson, really?
Yes, that's the
fuck
rumor.
you're fucking looking at Robert fucking Pattinson.
This fucking digger, you get the fuck out of that bullshit.
The Team Edward.
Jesus fucking
You're not down with Team Edward?
I'm not down with Twilight, period.
He hates Twilight as much as you do. Do you know that, right?
Yeah.
Same.
Wait, let's see here.
I said something on question.
Yeah. He got money. And he got
let's see.
Yeah. I'm telling you. Do you guys ever watch any of the Twilight movies, though?
No.
I saw the second one.
Skip them all. Just skip to the last 30 minutes of the last movie.
I think that's what I did. I saw the final battle.
You will not regret it. Now, I love Twilight. I'll admit it. I'm a fan of the books, and I'm a fan of the movies. And that last 30 minutes is still one of the best, because I feel like the director looked at it and said, this is all fucking stupid. Fuck it. Decapitating vampires. And it's the shit. For the last 30 minutes, it's all it is just head rips left and right.
And then it just
and a PG-13...
Okay, so then they predicted like the death or something?
Yes, what it is spoilers if anyone cares, no one does. There's a character who can see the future. She touches the main bad guy, shows him the future, which is the epic battle. And the twist, the M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end is that none of it happened because she showed it to him. He's like, fuck it, we retreat. And that's the whole idea. In the movie, they show all the killing and the head ripping and the earth splitting up, and it's fucking rad as shit. It's one of the funnest things to watch. If it literally turns into From Dusk Till Dawn the second half, but in a Twilight vampire kind of way. It's not really describing. What was I saying though? Oh, Robert Pattinson as Batman. Yeah, that's the rumor. That would be a very weird pick.
I can't get behind it, but you know,
who would you pick?
John Hamm.
Yeah, but he's younger Batman. They know they're going with younger Batman.
But yeah, they had it for Affleck.
No, he was older Batman.
Yeah, he's older Batman.
So they put little gray streaks on the sides of his hair.
Yeah,
no, I know that, but what? Because he's not doing it now,
it's going to be a different script.
Batman?
It will be going with a younger Batman because once again, this plays in my theory that this is a sequel to the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. Who would you pick as a younger Batman?
Yeah, that would make sense. The Joker and the Batman.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that would be
younger
cool.
Batman.
Yeah, who would you pick as your younger Batman?
I was going to say Paul Dano, then I realized it's Paul Dano. So, no.
I'm going to go with the late 90s, early 2000s choice. Haley Joel Osment. Don't know why. Just going to pick them.
That's really stupid. Because I was going to say Zachary Ty Bryant, from Home Improvement, the older brother, Brad.
Yeah. Let's do that one.
Perfect Batman.
Yeah.
Batman.
Wait, is he the one with the jaw?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. He's still acting, right?
No, I got this. Here. I mean, like everybody's said before, right? Like Jake Gyllenhaal. But he's Mysterio now.
Yeah, and he's probably too old because he's only, 10 years younger than...
I don't know these fucking young actors.
Me either, man. Fuck these motherfuckers.
Dude.
You know what? Kurt Russell. Fuck it.
Scott Eastwood.
Fuck that. That's actually a good one.
Eastwood can't do shit.
Logan Lerman.
He can't be in it anyhow. He was in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, well, I think he died in that one.
Yeah.
Logan Lerman.
Who the fuck is that? He has a very alliterative name like Peter Parker.
Jake Johnson. Or Jake Thompson.
You know what? You know what? Fuck it. James Dean, the porn star. Boom. Done. Get it in there.
He's gonna rape
No,
the whole
literally,
cast.
get it in there. What's that?
So he can rape the whole
Did
cast?
he rape somebody?
No, he just had those accusations thrown against him.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Shorty Mac.
Yep.
Shorty Mac
Yep.
as Batman.
I would be
Spitting in
behind
mouths.
that.
And his dick could be Robin.
Yeah, seriously.
It's like one of them sock 'em bop ones. He just comes out the side.
God.
This is my award, Dick Grayson.
Where
Emphasis
have we
on
gone?
Dick.
Yo, did you hear that Justice League was going to be a 3-parter?
Yes.
Did you hear about this? Kevin Smith this week on Batman Beyond discussed with
Is this
Mark Bernardin.
The Jim Lee storyboards.
Yes, that's right. The Jim Lee storyboards. He talked to somebody at Pinewood Studios when we went to episode 9, and they had worked on Justice League, which was also filmed there, and they ended up telling Kevin Smith, who, God love him, he had to tell everyone, because he's the shit, about how Justice League was to be not a 2-parter as we originally were told, but a 3-parter. The first part was going to be kind of the film we saw, except for at the end with the boom tube. They would have... If you could have audibly seen Javi's eye roll, that would have been fucking amazing. It literally was like... So it would have ended almost the same way this one did, except for when they looked up in the boom tube, they would have saw... what's his name?
Darkseid.
Darkseid looking down like Shao Kahn
Darkseid.
at the end of Mortal Kombat 1. I've come for your souls.
Yeah.
Hello, Shang Xiao. The second movie would have had
Mortal Kombat.
them. The second movie would have had them going to space, go to Apocalypse, fight Darkseid, and lose, much like they did at the end of Infinity War. But they would have used the Lantern Corps in that. And there was a scene where he says, "Thank God you've come, hope is not lost," or something like that. Supposedly, that
There's
was
a green light shining on Jeremy Irons' face in that scene in the trailer.
Right.
And the guy who was talking to Kevin Smith said, "Yeah, you know that scene? That was Green Lantern."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Holy fuck, man!"
And then he goes, "Long live the king," and throws Mufasa into the pit. And then, the third movie would have been going to Earth, the flashback that Ben Affleck, Batfleck has in Batman vs Superman. I apologize, Batman v Superman, and that whole scene where he's wearing the goggles and shit like that.
He's fighting the parademons. That's the post-apocalypse Earth, post eradication of Earth.
So with that said, the 3-parter that we did not get, if they could have pulled it off,
been
what do you guys
amazing.
think? Yeah,
Fuck yes.
By the end of the,
It's just like I wanted to see George Miller's.
you want to see
Justice
George Miller's
League.
Justice League,
Yeah.
which
Same-
was
same
almost
way.
made right before they did Batman Begins, I believe, or was it
Right.
that? Yeah.
It was around the same time, and
And they were gonna
they
do
scrapped
2.
it and just did the one.
Yeah.
But also, I would love to. We need the Snyder cut. We need to see the Justice League.
I'm
Snyder
intrigued
cut.
by this point. Like, evidently, it was said that it was unwatchable, but I think I would have watched it.
I would have.
Yeah, I would have watched it.
I liked the Ultimate cut of Batman.
Javi, what do you think?
BVS. I mean,
What do you think about the epicness that would have been the trilogy of Justice League that we'll never see?
Well, given the shit show that was the first one, I would not have cared to see a trilogy of that. Like 8 hours of that, it's like no.
I would watch 8 hours of Jake talking about GameCubes and shit like that.
I could watch 8 hours of Jake talking about how much he hates Baby Driver than the fucking 3 movies.
bad movie, folks. Don't watch it.
So what do you guys think of Zombieland?
I love Zombieland so much.
Do you know there's a sequel coming out October 11th of
so
this
excited,
year?
so fucking
Yes.
excited.
Zombieland Double Tap is what it's called. I didn't know that was
That's
coming
good.
out.
It's good.
Yeah, I had no idea that they were. Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who were the guys who wrote Deadpool and the original Zombieland, are the guys who wrote this one too. Kind of excited about that. I'm just throwing that out there. For
I
y'all
think
like Zombieland.
Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd are both slated to have cameos in it from
That would
what I've read online.
be amazing. I thought you were
dope.
just saying that, but that's fucking
No, because-
Maybe
amazing.
actually Bill
The
Murray's a
first one-
zombie because he got shot in the chest.
Exactly.
He wasn't shot in the head.
Oh my god.
That's gonna be fucking
Oh.
dope.
Maybe. I don't know.
And Aykroyd?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? And they're dressed as Ghostbusters? Oh, that would be amazing.
Zombie
Oh.
Ghostbuster.
Oh, that would-
Dan Aykroyd.
I saw
Bill
Zombie
Murray.
Ghostbusters once. Let me tell you a story. So back about 10, 11 years ago, I went to a zombie walk at the Monroeville Mall and near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where
Yes.
the original Dawn of the Dead was filmed. And yearly they have a zombie walk there to commemorate it.
Awesome.
And saw 2 things. Number one, I did see Zombie Ghostbusters. 4 guys dressed as the Ghostbusters with zombie makeup on,
Badass.
proton packs, everything. And the other one is I saw a Gene Simmons lookalike. And he wasn't dressed as a zombie, but he fucking looked like Gene Simmons. And me and my buddy Big Nick as zombies, like we saw him, we were just like, Gene Simmons. Simmons. And we would go towards him. And then he would slowly, like, Gene Simmons away, like, pip away. Saw him half a year later, hanging out at a bar, and he was telling me all kinds of stories of the mad pussy he gets just by looking like Gene Simmons.
Wow.
And then he's like, we're going to go fuck these black girls. You want to come with us? And I'm like, no. I'm good, Gene Simmons.
Oh, man.
I'm dead serious.
You should have gone.
We were trying to fuck
If
the other
there were
girls.
petite white women, would you have gone? You could have just been, more girls for me.
I saw a leaked set photo from the Ghostbusters movie with old
What?
man Bill Murray in the suit walking around some rubble with the fucking proton pack. Yeah,
They're
you can
filming
look
it
it up.
already?
They've been filming it, apparently. That's why he released that fucking little teaser trailer. They've been working on it for a while, I think.
I know during the Fat Man Beyond, the same one I was just talking about, Kevin Smith talks about talking to Jason Reitman. And in the middle of talking about it, actually Mark Bernardin says, I don't think I'd do that movie unless Bill Murray was in it. And Kevin Smith goes, I don't think I would either. And he goes, and he kind of looks like, oh, fuck, I gave it away. So, and the whole crowd goes, oh, Kevin Smith, you dirty dog.
You got him.
You Tom Holland us.
You rused him.
Ewan McGregor is glad Star Wars fans are
That would
finally...
he would make a good young Batman, I would think. Ewan McGregor.
He's as old as Flash.
Is he really?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
He would make a good...
He's older than Affleck.
He would make a good Obi-Wan Kenobi, though, wouldn't he?
He would make
I'm
a
just saying.
Yeah, I think he would.
It's
A
like
good,
you wouldn't be able to tell the
middle-aged old man, Ben Kenobi.
Just a good old...
That'd be, perfect.
So, he's happy that people have come around on the prequels. And that's... he goes, the fans that it was made for, the young kids, actually love the prequels. And he goes, George Lucas was going for something different with the prequels, and that's what we made. But what does he have to complain about? No one has ever bitched about Ewan McGregor in the prequels. Not once. Not once.
So it's been Hayden
No.
Christensen?
Yeah.
Okay.
If anything, he's the saving grace of the prequels.
Exactly. He's the glue that holds that shit together. Because,
Right.
I don't buy any of this other shit, but, Obi-Wan's pretty alright. I like that.
It was good.
Hey everyone, it's just Duck jumping in here real quick to say thank you so much for checking out the podcast today. If you're enjoying it, please head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, iTunes, and give We Are Podcast a like. And if you get a chance, head over to our social media. All links can be found in the description. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /We Are Podcast. And if you're enjoying the podcast today, please share with your friends. It's the only way we can grow this network. With that said, back to the podcast. Did you guys watch the Jar Jar Binks suicide video I sent you earlier?
No.
So
I
the
didn't see
actor
it.
who played Jar Jar Binks did a video about how he almost killed himself after The Phantom Menace came out. And my first thought was, you should have done it. And then I realized that was very cruel of me
No,
because I watched the video, and it's very sad to think about what this man went through.
Yeah.
And also you got to remember, too, Michael Jackson was going for the role of Jar Jar Binks. He was like, come on, George, give me the role. And then this guy, the way he met...
Are you serious?
Yes, dead serious. And the way this guy met Michael Jackson's George Lucas goes, oh yeah, this is the guy who'll be playing Jar Jar. And he was like, oh man, I wanted that role so bad. Come on, George.
Yeah, I
And
do.
So anyhow, the whole time they were filming it, evidently he was all pumped, right? And then after it came out, of course, we all pretty much hated Jar Jar. So he got suicidal.
So you ask him what would have happened to Michael Jackson had he been cast as Jar Jar Binks? Like how this whole series would play out.
Dude, I would
like,
love that if he was like, oh, come on, Annie.
yeah.
Oh, she's little Annie.
Come
Don't
on,
worry.
little Annie.
Come here,
let's
little-
play.
Come here, little Annie.
Are you okay?
So what made me... It was right
I
there.
think George Lucas like, yeah, something's kind of weird with this. Let's cast this other guy.
George Lucas does sound like Kermit the Frog.
A little bit. Kind of does.
I don't think I like that. Dude, I will give you mad props for that. That was really nicely done. Did you catch what he said?
What's that?
He goes, "Hey, come here, Annie. Are you okay?" Very nicely done.
That one off.
That is
Very
fucking
nice.
great.
Once
Should have
again-
said it louder.
Yeah. But I was thinking, Jar Jar Binks made a suicide video. Does everyone who was in the prequels get to make one eventually where they talk about how they almost committed suicide?
Oh,
Does
shit,
Jake
everyone-
Lloyd get one? Does
He's
Hayden
in jail
Christensen-
Yeah,
now.
I think he's in jail now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he knocked up a hit up a gas station, I think.
He locked up a robber and robbed a gas station afterwards.
I thought you were going to say he knocked up a parking cone. How did you fucking knock up a parking cone?
I don't know. You should see the kid. It's real weird looking.
found a way!
He's got so many midichlorians running through the force. Just
Yo,
need
I've
that
been not
parking cone, baby.
I haven't wanted to tell you guys this, but I'm Jake Lloyd.
Oh,
This
shit.
is why I moved away from Pennsylvania.
So how was the parking cone?
That was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
was a-
fucking
She was a
awesome.
dirty hole.
Sorry, back to prequels. Mace Windu originally was supposed to be Tupac before he got shot. and killed.
Nah.
He was signed on to be
Nah.
Mace
Are you
Windu.
fucking kidding me?
No, I'm not.
Dude.
Could you imagine that fucking Star Wars
Yeah,
universe we would have
he'd
had?
like slice somebody's head off and be like, wonder why they call you bitch.
Yeah.
You're like, that'd be cool as
No
fuck.
changes.
Dude. You go through changes, and you go through changes, and I swipe you, and you go through changes. Y'all going through changes. Yeah, that would have been fucking killer. Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I thought it was always Sam Jackson.
Well, he was
Speaking
talking to Tupac before.
Speaking Tupac, it's
Yeah.
going to be a very
It's-
good movie, and
Yeah, I'll drink a 40 with
Try not to get
I
shot
just
with
want to
you.
talk to you about this role. I think
Suge
it'd be
Knight
good for
can
it.
play Jabba the Hutt. It won't be an issue. I wasn't going to bring it up, but Captain Marvel, like, I watched those trailers and seeing young age Sam Jackson,
Mhm.
that's fucking insane.
Well,
it really is.
Same. All the fucking Marvel movies do it now.
Yeah.
I watched Ant-Man and Wasp again last night, and the transformation that they did to Michael Douglas, Lawrence Fishburne, and Michelle Pfeiffer and that shit, it's
Oh
like,
my
holy
God,
shit.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Then again, you have to think
It's
Black
like
don't
fucking,
crack.
they got Catwoman.
I
They're
realized
fucking Ant-Man and Wasp.
one of my exes looked like Michelle Pfeiffer, and I was kind of turned on while watching that. I was like, I did all right for a minute.
Dude, Michelle Pfeiffer's aged well.
Oh my God, dude. And Cat.
Not like that
Cat one?
fucking-
Oh, God.
Iron-faced goddamn Meg Ryan.
Hey, what happened with her?
She turned into a cat lady.
She looked like somebody-
She turned into a Marine Ponderosa.
Yeah, she really did.
I was going to say Sam Jackson. What I thought was really cool is it doesn't look like 90s Sam Jackson. It looks like a version of Sam Jackson we've never seen before.
Right.
But Sam was never that thick. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like they used the body down, they pumped him up a little bit. His face is wider
Well, he's
than
got
it
the
ever was.
wave haircut
Exactly.
also.
But you buy it, and that's the cool
Yeah.
part. Like, I don't know what it's going to look like in action while we're actually watching a movie. We're only seeing 2-3 second clips. I thought in Rogue One, when they did Grand Moff Tarkin, that looked terrible.
Yeah.
He looked like a fucking weird, big-headed bobblehead.
Yeah,
thing.
at points it looked really good. Whenever
Yeah.
he's not moving around doing too
Yeah,
much.
if he's not talking.
Yeah, and then the same with Carrie Fisher.
Then it
on
looks
that
like a
one also.
weird fucking Muppet when he starts talking.
The
Like,
Carrie
it's-
Fisher wasn't quite right either.
No, I hate it. I can't watch the end of it because she's like, help. And I'm like, that was enough to fuck this whole thing up. Thank you.
I still like Rogue One, but
No, dude, that end when she turns on and said, hope, take that shit out. All you have
Yes.
to do is have her turn around, you see it's her, boom. credits. Exactly. But they didn't even play. They didn't even have the Star Wars theme in it, did they?
it didn't open with it.
Yeah.
It didn't open with the crawl either.
Did you watch Solo yet, by the way?
Still haven't.
Oh,
I'll watch
You're
it
not-
tonight.
You're not missing much.
I'll watch it tonight or
Oh,
tomorrow.
we should just do a podcast on Solo because I really want to hear your thoughts.
Oh, Jesus
I'm
Christ.
intrigued by
We'll
that.
do it tomorrow.
This
night.
made this rant for Solo. I predict that Jake's gonna have his own
Oh
rival Baby Driver rant.
yeah. I'll watch it tonight or tomorrow.
Child's Play, the remake, is coming out. They released a viral video on it. It's basically a guy standing in front of a screen talking about all the electronics that are in the household. Basically the Alexa, the Google Chrome, whatever you got. Everyone has these things, right? Basically, Child's Play is not going to be the traditional Chucky murderer gets put into the doll's body and becomes a serial killer, continues his murders, Brad Dourif style. It's going to be based on our modern technology. And Chucky is going to be an app called Buddy, which can use all the stuff that is connected in your household throughout your Wi-Fi, Alexa, Amazon,
But that's also
whatever.
how you operate the.
So it's gonna
the
be like Child's
doll
Play
itself
meets Maximum Overdrive.
A little bit, yes. That's exactly what it's going to be.
and Paranormal Activity.
And the idea that all this stuff that we have that's electronic and synced up together by Bluetooth is going to be a murderer. I kind of like that.
I like that also.
I kind of like that. I was
You know what
like,
it kind
that's
of
kinda
reminds me of?
badass.
Whenever you say Virtuosity.
That's what I was
Oh, that was
thinking.
a
Yeah,
trippy fucking movie.
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
Or the fucking Gene Simmons movie with Tom Selleck. The fucking little robotic fucking. Y'all know what
Oh,
I'm talking
Scanners.
about? Yeah, no.
Not Scanners?
Logan's Run.
No.
Oh, we're going to find out what
The
it is. Hold on a
Langoliers.
second.
No.
It's not the Langoliers.
Langoliers.
You know how the Langoliers was described to me? Imagine a bunch of demonic Pac-Mans eating time. And I was like, sold!
Yeah.
I watched the fuck out of that.
And Balky was in it.
And
It was
Balky
pretty
is
crazy.
out of control in that goddamn movie.
That was my first time ever seeing Bronson Pinchot not as Balky. I was like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
wrong with you?
He should
Like,
probably just play Balky.
I didn't realize that other actors could play different roles. It's just like when I watch Shining Time Station, I'm like, oh my god, George Carlin, he's awesome. But not
Runaway.
knowing the insane
What's it
comedian.
The movie was called Runaway.
Runaway?
Y'all should watch it. Gene Simmons plays a bad guy in it.
Can I just throw this out here? Is Balky the poor man's Mork?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure we're on the same page on that. Make sure. So I kind of got bent out of shape last week a little bit about Bill Maher and what he said.
Oh, yeah.
About comic book movie fans. You guys had a chance to see what he said.
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
So it kind of bothered me at first, but the whole crux of his argument was comic books are not literature, and they are not an art form, and that's what I gathered from it. And yeah, a lot of people will say they're funny books, and a lot of people who work on them will say they're funny books. But the idea that they're not legitimate literature kind of bothers me. And that was what he was going after. He was saying, well, if y'all would get your head out of capes and crusaders and start paying attention to politics, well, there are a lot of people who pay attention to politics who also read comic books.
That write the fucking comics
That's
and
true,
tie
too.
the two together also.
Yes, and that's, I was going to say, what, not only comic books, but video games, are they an art form? You know, we've had film for over 100 years. And for me, film is an art form. 100%. It uses all the mediums of the arts, you know. It can use sculpture, it can use painting, it can use dance, it can use acting, everything put together.
Sound, that's why they're called fucking Foley artists.
Yes.
I believe James Franco said it best, and this is the end. You like Subway? You ever go get a sandwich? You watch somebody put that together for you? It's art, bro. It's art. He's a sandwich artist.
You do know they call that sandwich artist, right?
I know, that's all I'm saying.
When I worked at Wendy's, they were like, you're a sandwich artist. I was like, no, I'm a guy getting paid minimum wage.
Yeah, I'm making
flipping
burgers,
burgers, bro.
Flipping burgers, man. But the thing is, I feel like for me...
Art can be whatever anybody chooses to take beauty or they feel some type of way out of.
Like
If something, you look at something and it makes you feel some type of emotion.
That's how I feel. Art elicits emotion. And yes, there is good art. There's amazing art that touches all of us. There's crass art. There's terrible art. It's across the board. Art is subjective. That's what Javi said earlier. It's in the eye of the beholder. Whether that be paintings, whether that be music, whether that be a film, whether that be literature. We were talking about it earlier.
Performance art.
I like Twilight. You guys don't like Twilight.
Yeah,
For
you're
me,
fucking weird.
I know. Twilight's art to me,
Fucking
though.
weirdo.
I like Twilight. You guys don't. It is subjective. You see what I'm saying? So everyone likes different
Twilight
stuff.
is fart to me. Fuck you.
But for me to say that comic books are not art, and even further, to say video games, a lot of people don't consider them an art form yet. Doesn't make sense. So I kind of wanted to go through some comic books that we know for a fact are considered high literature, are considered the best. You got to go right to The Dark Knight Returns, one of the best graphic novels ever made.
Agreed.
And it is a storyline about a man who has lost his way and how he seeks redemption and how he was the only person keeping a city together and he gave up on it because he tired of it. He thought he defeated everyone.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's the story of good versus evil because you have to have that dichotomy. And that 4-part series, not only does he face his inner demons, he faces his greatest foe, and then he faces a god. How is that not literature on the same level as the Odyssey, the Iliad, any of the great
You're the
Greek
fucking
novels?
Bible.
All of it. That is what that book represents to me. And then you take on top of that, panel by panel, it's some of the best work you will ever fucking see. Not only that, but the prose within it and his inner monologue is amazing. You know, whenever it begins and he's racing the race car, and he goes, I could die today and it would be a good death, but not good enough.
Right.
It's fucking amazing.
Yes.
He's looking
Very
for
well
someone.
written.
Exactly.
Very well put together.
I think it is the best piece of Batman mythology ever written. Personally.
Agreed. I'll go with that.
How about you, Javi? Is there any graphic novel that you've ever read that you feel really stands the test of time or stays with you?
The Watchmen.
Yes,
For sure.
Gotta go to The Watchmen, good sir. You know, the very thing that breaks down the superhero myth and what it means to be one, and how they lost their way in every way. You know, they were meant to be one thing, and they became something completely different.
Right.
And by their failure, the bad guy wins, and he recreates through that what the world needs to be, and the truth still comes out at the end. And the way Alan Moore wrote that, and Alan Moore is one of the most interesting characters who ever wrote for graphic novels, and he just calls them comic books.
He co-created Dilbert.
What?
He co-created the Dilbert cartoon.
Somebody double check that. I don't think.
Check it out, dude.
I don't have my phone. Neither do you. Hey, Jake, will you get on that, sir?
I will say he did create Swamp Thing.
He helped recreate Swamp Thing. There's no denying that.
I also like the fact that
he did From Hell, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I think that was a word he said. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. A lot of the stuff he did in the 80s, is fucking crazy. And then he just went away, really, from doing graphic novels and became a practicing warlock. And
he looks like it, too.
And there's an amazing documentary called The Mindscape of Alan Moore. If you ever get a chance to watch it, please watch it. If you are ever tripping, please do not go into the state of mind that he goes into, because I've been tripping before and looking at small planes of existence and thinking, oh my God, there's so much life on this right here. And going into the idea of microbes and small creatures and stuff like that. But what you were saying, what was it about Watchmen that really stuck out to you?
Just how Ozymandias tried to justify going to the lengths he did for the name of peace. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I just like Dr. Manhattan said, it's like, I can change a lot of things. I just can't change human nature. And as much as Ozymandias tried, I guarantee you, we're just going to fall into the same thing. Back. It's all going to go back.
Right.
And it's very cerebral, that fucking graphic novel.
For me, it's the characters. You have every possible storyline ever. You were talking about almost a biblical state. Everything that you can imagine. You have jaded lovers. You have people who were trying to work together and could not get their shit together. You have Rorschach, who's a conspiracy theorist, and he was right.
Yeah.
You have the God character and what it means to become a god and create. And you have another character who wants to be a god but does not possess the powers. So how does he corrupt things so that he actually becomes more powerful than the god?
I also like that whole thing, how pretty much Dr. Manhattan, who's essentially God there, is just like, you know what, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Deuces. And he's just gone.
It's a story about God going to his new creation.
Yeah.
And supposedly the God of the Watchmen universe, he had given up because he probably was out there watching at the same time. A new God was forming and he just said, you guys do as you're going to do. You know,
right?
I can't change you.
The one other wonderful thing is if you look at it as an art form, there are entire panels that reflect as you go through. Of course, it's split. I think it's 12 issues.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Not only they are symmetrical, meaning if you read it from beginning to end, you will see panels reflecting each other in different ways. You'll see imagery that reflects over and over again. And not only did he do the story. Within the story, did Tales of the Black Freighter, which was a comic book within a comic book, which parallels the story that's going on about hubris. And then on top of that, he did The Minutemen, which is actual literature at the end of each comic book that gives you more backstory. So there's layers upon layers upon layers within Watchmen. So that's what it makes it rise above, if you ask me. It just makes it beyond. And like the movie...
Well, it transcends comics at that point.
It's more than that. It's literature. It's some of the best literature I've ever read. I remember the first time I read it was probably 15 years ago, and I was just blown away by it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. How about you, Jake? Have you ever read a certain graphic novel comic book that really stuck with you?
Old Man Logan.
Old Man Logan?
Yeah.
Mark Miller?
Yeah.
Is it Mark Miller or Mark Miller?
Yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
The story of Logan in the future with his family. X-Men are all dead.
Everybody's dead. All the heroes
It's
are
a
dead.
post-apocalyptic Marvel universe where...
Logan has taken to peace. He is no longer the Wolverine.
Right. He's just Logan.
Exactly. And the United States is separated into 4 territories. One controlled by the Hulk, one controlled by the Red Skull. And then there's 2 more.
Peter Parker's
Dr. Doom, I think, gets a quarter of it, too, and then somebody else gets a quarter of it. And Logan ends up, his family gets killed. So he goes on a quest.
Okay, so the fucked up part about that is the Hulk and She-Hulk, who are cousins,
they
ended up fucking
and have inbred children.
Inbred kids.
A lot of inbred kids.
So and they end up killing Logan's family while he's away with Hawkeye doing whatever.
Yes, Hawkeye. I think
he didn't leave with Hawkeye yet. He was away, comes back.
I think he went on a quest to kill Red Skull, but it's like a cross-country trip. Mm-hmm. And
on top of that, they got the fucking Venom symbiote on a goddamn T-Rex in it.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that, yeah.
There's like some...
All that lore.
Crammed into it,
And Peter Parker's daughter is so fucking hot. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah, she is.
And then at the end of it, what you have to say is... And then we're going to spoil it, we don't care. The Hulk eats the Wolverine.
Well, Logan encounters Old Man Banner first. He's this decrepit old fucking 90-year-old man.
And white trash as shit.
Oh, yeah. They're fucking hillbilly as fuck. It's like, how the fuck did this happen? Like, this is like the smartest guy on the goddamn planet.
Right.
And, yeah.
As you can tell when
Logan stabs him through the chest, like, fucking straight up, fucks up Old Man Banner. Like, yeah, I know you did it. Blah, blah, blah. And then he turns into the Hulk and...
He eats him.
And it's like the
He eats
creepiest
him.
version of the
Wolverine.
He
Hulk.
fucking eats him.
He eats Wolverine.
He eats Wolverine. And then what happens?
He regenerates inside of his stomach, splits him in two outside of his belly,
And he takes
kidnaps his child,
and raises
raises
him
him
as
as his own.
Fucking awesome. And now we get into, we weren't even talking about, when these books get turned into movies then, eventually, Old Man Logan becomes Logan. And there is no denying Logan is a beautiful cinematic work
It
of
is.
art.
Love
It's
the movie.
It's a beautiful film.
Love the movie.
You can watch it as a standalone piece. You can either watch it as a sequel to the other movies, or it can stand on its
Yeah,
own
you don't
merits.
need to watch the first two
The-
Wolverine movies too.
It's
Those
such-
first
what's
Wolverine
going
movies
on.
are they just pale in comparison.
It's
They
just-
really do.
Yeah.
The Wolverine, the second one, there were aspects of it that I really liked, but I mean, Wolverine without being as regeneration powers in it, it's like, come on, dude, what are we watching here? Like, this isn't how it's supposed to go down. I don't know.
And they had that weird Matrix moment where they have to suck the little squid out of his body or whatever it was. He was
Yeah,
pregnated.
yeah.
And then they redid that again in what was the Alien prequel, Prometheus. But that scene was pretty bad.
Right.
Prometheus.
Yeah, it was. That was fucking dope.
There's a comic book graphic novel that I read called Day Tripper. I highly suggest that you can search it out. And basically, every chapter is a chapter in a man's life from when he's younger until old age. But the kicker is, at the end of every chapter, he is killed. And what the book does is it shows you how fickle life is. So at the end of a chapter, he might die in a car accident, or he might be killed by somebody in a robbery. At one point, he has a friend who gets addicted to drugs who murders him. But the next chapter, instead of being killed at the end of that chapter, it would have been if he hadn't been killed, and it continues the story of his life. It's called Day Tripper. It's an amazing graphic novel, and it is 100%. It's like a Darren Aronofsky film kind of thing. Like, it's a work of art. It really is. I highly suggest you check that out. Other things that we could call, like the Sandman.
Neil Gaiman's Sandman.
Neil Diamond.
Yeah.
Neil
Gaiman.
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 Did we say Neil Diamond?
I said Neil Gaiman. You said Neil Diamond.
And then I said it was Neil Gaiman, right?
Yeah, whatever.
I've never read Sandman personally, but
Me
I know
either,
that
but
a
I
lot
heard
of people.
it won the only comic book ever to win the Peabody Award or some shit like
shit.
this.
Right.
Like it's for works of literature, and
Yeah.
then after he won, they eliminated comic books being eligible.
That's
Ever
fucking
again.
bullshit.
It's the only one that did, but they're like, this isn't literature, this isn't whatever.
Have you ever seen Mouse before? The World War II version where the Jewish Polish people are represented as mice and the Nazis are represented as cats.
I know what this is.
Yeah, it came
but-
from the 1980s and it won the Pulitzer Prize. So how can
Sounds
you say that's
familiar.
not art?
Right.
It doesn't even make sense. It's considered one of the best graphic novels ever put together. Also, you got to look at things kind of like The Walking Dead, where it's, pop culture. But at the same time, The Walking Dead is a serialized series that has been going, and the comic book, I think, is on 20 runs of it at this point. And I've read the first half of it, and it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really damn good. And you actually care about the characters, and just like the show, yeah, they kill off people. And that's the thing, is they get you involved with these characters. They suck you in, that you want them to survive, and then they don't. And it's a soap opera. Now, some people get super involved in soap operas. Some people don't like them. Me personally, The Walking Dead's a soap opera. I like it. Game of Thrones is a soap opera. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Things like that. So I really, in the comic books, I really like them. Plus, they're in black and white. And some of the imagery in the comic books, they can't do it justice in the TV show.
Yeah, I have read some of them.
The one thing that they got right, spoiler alert, if you're not caught up, you're fucked. When they kill Glenn. When they kill Glenn in the comic book, there were only 2 times I ever said, holy shit. The first time was when Carl got his eyes shot out. That, I went, holy fuck. And then when they killed Glenn, because it was so brutal looking in the comic book, and in the TV show, they did it just as
They
well.
did it.
Yeah.
They did some
But
serious justice.
a lot of people feel like that was the turning point in the TV show where it turned so many people off, because like it was so brutally violent. People couldn't handle it anymore.
I could see that because there was a steep decline in
Exactly.
people.
And also, I just think it was
appreciation
because
for the
people
show
just
after
really
that.
love Glenn, and that kind of made me think like, you already deviated from the story. Why not just keep that guy alive and just keep your viewership up?
No, man, you got
You
to.
gotta-
They did the perfect. They did the perfect M. Night Shyamalan twist where they killed one character because everyone thought Glenn was coming because they read the comics. They killed him, and then they turned around 5 minutes later and did the thing they did in the comics. It was perfect. That was probably one of the best episodes as a fan of the comic book that they ever did on the TV show.
I think it was culturally significant also because there was a lot of parodies and everything else about it. A shit ton of memes came out afterwards for it.
The Chappelle The Chappelle
Yeah, the
thing on
Chappelle
Saturday
Saturday Night Live, the following week, or the Saturday after that fucking shit happened, pretty much, that he fucking did that.
It was awesome. How can you not
It's
say
like
that's
the
art?
Batman animated series compared to Batman.
Well, then, right there.
Yeah.
That came from all that Batman lore, which is 50 years worth of lore, 55 maybe, I think it is. And then you go to something like that, which is Emmy nominated and winning?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Oh, and that's what I was going to talk about. How can Bill Maher say that fucking comic books are not art whenever it's translated? Black Panther was nominated for an Oscar for Best Picture. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was nominated for an Oscar for Best Animated Film, along with The Incredibles 2, which isn't a direct adaptation of a comic book, but it is comic book.
It is, yeah.
You got awards for music, visual effects, editing, all those things, with Avengers Infinity War, Black Panther falling into that again, things like that. How can you say it's not a legitimate art form?
Did Bill Maher not have a cameo as on a newscast on one of these fucking superhero movies ever though?
If
they do those
he's not
going to
get one now.
when they're talking about the flip of the channels. You see Bill O'Reilly talking about. Obviously, he was paid to talk about the fucking Superman or whatever else. Was Bill Maher not in one of these at some point in the last fucking 15 years?
So I don't think he will be now either. I think he really fucked himself.
Good.
He's a fucking asshole. He always was and always will be.
Yeah.
I still like him.
Still like Religulous.
I still like Bill Maher.
Video games.
Video games.
Red Dead.
That's why I wanted to
Red
talk
Dead
about
Redemption
it.
2.
Okay.
That game is pure art.
That's what I want to talk about. You guys have brought it up quite a bit. Red Dead Redemption 2, Red Dead Redemption. Are they art?
Yeah.
Okay, why?
Character building is a main part of it also.
It fully, you get involved,
Yeah.
to the point where, you feel like you're Arthur Morgan's best friend. And you just want the best for him. You want the best for everybody in the camp. It's really immersive. And physically, just by the design alone, that game is fucking beautiful.
Right.
I'll put that art on the same level as Shadow of the Colossus.
The people who designed it is great, especially on the cutscenes. I mean, there's parts where you're looking at it, you're like, holy shit, this looks like it's real fucking live.
Well, here's the key. Does it put
When they go to Guarma. The scene at Guarma,
Do they
the
put
fucking beach out there, and you're like, holy shit, it looks real.
Okay, that's the point I want to get to. You felt like you're the character. Do you feel like you're the character?
Oh, yeah.
Or do you feel like
Definitely.
he's a surrogate, but you are the character?
Yeah, I mean, well, you're acting as yourself because you're given a list of options how you want to respond. So, I mean...
And it's always personal with those things.
Yeah.
Right.
It just depends on the mood you're in, I guess, because I've played it 4 different ways.
Okay.
Or I'm starting my 4th different way, where you go all good, you get maximum honor. That's an achievement right there. If you can max everything out, you have a good death at the end. You don't get shot in the face or anything like that. You die looking at the sun, everything else. If you want to go full dishonor, you can just fucking kill, rape, and pillage and do whatever the fuck. You can, it's insane. You can go polar opposites on it. You get maximum dishonor. But, I mean, it's just... different outcomes, you know? You different things happen whenever you make these choices.
So what
it's
do you think?
a way better
Just the
version of
story alone,
Bandersnatch.
Holy shit.
Do you feel like you're... Okay, is it a cinematic, the same way as you feel when you watch a movie, or is it a completely different thing?
No, it's cinematic.
You're playing a fucking movie.
You're playing a movie,
Yep.
okay. And all the things play into it, whether it's the visuals, the music, and also the controls, where
All of it.
your avatar within the game, you feel like it is an extension of you.
In some sense, I guess. It's not at that virtual reality fucking point yet, but
it's pretty
close.
close.
You can get involved into it.
And you can get a hand job.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
yeah, if you're taking a bath.
It's hot.
But you can choose to do chores in it or not if you want to. I've
Really?
done more chores in the fucking game than I've done around the house in the past 2 months.
It's
I'm
so
so
weird.
tired of moving hay bales for the fucking horses.
yeah,
in
why
camp.
can't I run with this hay bale?
That's fucking crazy.
But it's just the story. I cried at the end on my first run.
First go
fuck,
through,
God
I did
damn it.
also.
And it was when he was diagnosed with TB, I was like, fuck. I teared up. I was like, and just the reaction on his face was like, okay.
That immersion aspect of it, I experienced that in a couple different games. BioShock 2, oddly, was the first game that I was totally immersed to the point where I had to play it in one sitting. And I'm not even joking, because I became so protective of the girl that's in it, who's the daughter character, that I had to save her. But I was like, I must save her. The sense of urgency put me
It
down
can
to
give you a sense of high, though.
It did.
It releases endorphins
It
in your
did.
fucking brain whenever you're doing it. It's
and
like anything else.
I enjoyed the first game, but I still think it's a superior game. But my first experience with the BioShock 2 was that it was a 11-hour sit down, playing through the whole game, and I had to beat it. I didn't have a choice. And I got so enraptured, get the joke, in the gameplay, in the story, in the ambiance of everything surrounding me, in the fighting, that I became that character. And it probably helped even more that there's like a visor-like effect where you can kind of see the oval of like the character because you're in a Big Daddy outfit. That sense of immersion I'd never really had before in a video game. Now, I had played a lot of story-based video games such as Final Fantasy VII, which made me cry when Aerith died. And so I think a lot of people felt that. There's a famous quote about Steven Spielberg who said, like, video games will become an art form whenever they can make you cry. And there's a lot of people who play Final Fantasy VII.
Final Fantasy X definitely made me fucking cry.
Yeah. And that play those games and got so enthralled in the storyline that they ended up being emotionally attached to these characters.
I think the experience I had with Red Dead Redemption 2 is my experience with Final Fantasy X, where it's kind of like you want the best for the character, and you're like, oh, come on, you can do this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a lot of
not going well.
The thing about it, there's a lot of confliction in his life, like you know, faced with a lot of crossroads.
Right.
And you try to give him redeeming qualities about himself, so you just don't die a piece of shit. So I think if you can immerse yourself into that point to where you actually do feel for them. But you know, like there's points where you can sit around the campfire and just fucking listen to everybody. They sing songs, they all sing along together, just everything. Like there's so much character development and growth. It's more than a movie. It's like watching a fucking 2-part series on Netflix or something, you know?
And well, that's the other thing too. It doesn't have to be that sense of immersion, I think, to qualify as art. For me, the sense of nostalgia that goes with retro gaming is huge to me, as Javi's wearing a Super Mario Brothers hat, and as we're sitting in a room full of 8-bit art and things like that. For me, that reminds me of my childhood. And yes, nostalgia does play a huge part in that. But at the same time, also does mastering those games. I can beat Super Mario Brothers in less than 10 minutes. I can beat Super Mario Brothers 2 in less than 10 minutes. I've mastered those games. It is literally... it's if I learned karate, and I have muscle memory for those games.
Right.
And yet I still remember the first time I got to play those games. And that moment, that excitement of holding that controller for the first time, looking at it, that stays with me.
Struggling through every single level.
Exactly.
To get to where
getting
you're at
frustrated
now.
and my hands are sweaty.
You can't save or whatever else.
And that whole, yes, it plays in the nostalgia aspect, but that, there's art that comes from that now, too.
Just playing the fucking game itself is an art form.
I agree with that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, Mario always, just the control aspect of it and how you play the games, they better that art form every time they release a Mario game. They change how that's controlled. But there is something about mastering perfect control.
But how you play it. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. How you play it as a fucking person. That is an art form. How you choose to play the game. Because we don't all play the games the same way.
Exactly.
Like, some of us do. Like,
some of us
know that there's certain things that we have to do whenever we do it. But we don't do it the same way. You explore differently than I explore. You know? Like,
and you brought up a very good point there, too. The social aspect of sharing, too. You showed me a meme earlier about Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
And whenever somebody shows you a new, a
the
fatality
90s,
or a move, or that word of mouth on the bus going, hey, did you know that Samus is a girl at the end of the game? And they're like, I want to see some titties come out.
Exactly. So
that whole,
that builds hype.
Exactly. That whole social aspect of people talking about cool shit. When you guys sit there and talk about Red Dead Redemption 2, and I feel like a fucking nerd because I played it.
I want you to play it. I just need
we all want you to
Xbox
play
over
it.
here,
Yeah, even Red Dead Redemption does too because it's going to steal my soul.
Mm-hmm. You been playing it?
What's that?
You've been playing it?
No. I don't have time to
Just
play
the way you excited, you're like, what's that?
I don't have time to play it. No. But maybe eventually, because I know I'm missing out on something that's really good. That's the other thing, too. With a lot of modern video games, you have to be on the hype train and be able to experience it at that time, like the Halo thing. I was never into Halo, but I know Halo multiplayer, when I played, was fun.
Well, I was going to say there's so many devout Halo fans now also. I'm not on that train either.
No, but also Modern Warfare and Black Ops Zombies.
Yep.
That's another thing. If you didn't get to experience Black Ops Zombies and Black Ops 2, you really fucking missed out on something whenever it was big.
Yeah, you don't feel the hype like everybody else does at that point.
Exactly.
There's
something about
it's the same thing with the Grand Theft Auto games as well.
Absolutely. If you're not riding that high while it's happening, you're going to miss out on it. And there's an experience to be had at that time. That's what a lot of these kids are experiencing now with Minecraft and Fortnite and things like that.
Because you can share so much.
Exactly.
Everybody's like just constantly chasing for Easter eggs and everything else.
Right.
Like, it's insane.
And the community aspect of it is huge. But to say that that's not an art form, that's not true. Because number one, it's giving an emotional response.
Thought.
Exactly. And creating a community and creating an experience that can be shared amongst people. And then within 10 to 20 years, those kids are going to be sitting there doing what we're doing now, talking about Fortnite in a way that is they have a reverence for it.
The way we talk about Nintendo.
About the way my parents talk about the Beatles.
Exactly. But we should all talk that way about the Beatles.
Yeah, I fucking love the Beatles.
I love the
They're my
Beatles
favorite
too.
band.
That's what I'm saying. Some of these things can be shared, some of them can't. And maybe that's the problem is, not to go back to it, maybe Bill Maher doesn't get it because he's a little bit older. But if he can't see that these are art forms, that doesn't make sense to me.
So in summation, fuck you, Bill Maher.
He's a buzzkill. We could just talk
He's
about
a
that.
troll.
Yes, that's 100% what it is. He's a troll, and he's upset about Adam Levine's nipples also.
Yeah.
Just to throw it out there, some other games that I feel that are art. Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and Link to the Past, even more so. I think it's a better game, and I think that it's amazing. Final Fantasy VII,
I like
that.
Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening is awesome.
Yeah, Link's Awakening is really good also.
Yes, on the Game Boy. It's fucking so good.
Yeah.
Snatcher for the Sega CD is one of the best stories I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Super cinematic. I'd love to turn that into something someday. Metal Gear Solid is another one I've never played, but I love the lore of. Even Five Nights at Freddy's. I know it's stupid to say, but like if you go into the lore that was pulled from Five Nights at Freddy's from the YouTubers, it's amazing. I don't even play the fucking game. I don't give a shit about the game.
Right.
But the lore of it is on the same level as Mortal Kombat.
Right.
Where it's so expansive and interesting. There's so many hidden things within it that people pull out that I'm like, this is the most epic fucking story I've ever seen. And it's dark and it's scary and it was made by a Christian guy. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Wow.
If you look at what the
Mortal
YouTubers...
Kombat.
Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat, yeah, same thing.
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter, same thing. And even more so when you look at the cabinets, there's art on that. A cabinet can be artistic, if you ask me. Yeah. So to denounce all this stuff and say that, it's not as great as the great works of Shakespeare and this and that.
It's a part of our society. It's ingrained in our culture and our vernacular. I don't even know a fucking 9-year-old woman who doesn't know who fucking Super Mario is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Mario's bigger than the Beatles.
Yeah.
It was bigger than Jesus.
Bigger than Jesus.
But that's the biggest... I mean, it really is. Everyone knows what all that stuff is. And like I said, for him to say that, I'm going to go back to it again because it pisses me off. And then a week later, Black Panther and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse are nominated for 2 Oscars. I do think Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse will win the Oscar for Best Animated.
No, I don't think so.
Incredibles 2 probably will take it.
The Oscars love Disney and anything related to Disney.
I don't think.
Even though I think Spider-Verse blew Incredibles 2 out the fucking water.
This might be the year for the change, though. This might be the year that they go, okay, look, we've been pissing a lot of people off lately, so we had to...
I mean, because fuck, man, for the last, 4 or 5 years, Disney has taken home the Oscar for every animated thing. Even the animated short, they've taken home. And it's kind of like, it's bullshit. It's bought.
All right, I guess we'll see, because we're going to watch almost every Oscar film that has been released.
Fingers crossed.
And we're going to do a podcast on that, so please stay tuned for that. Guys, is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah,
any games
fuck Bill Maher.
Yeah, fuck Bill Maher.
Yeah, fuck
You should read that novel, motherfucker.
I needed to get it off my chest. I really did, because it's been bugging me. Because I like Bill Maher, but really, you need to open up your horizons, Bill Maher.
Yeah, that's...
And listen, and I'll still watch your show. I don't care.
I'll never watch your show.
Y'all, thank you so much for listening. Please check us out online at YouTube. We got the Quack Attack 5000. We Are Air. Sorry. We Are Air on Facebook. That is the Facebook page. Please go there and join us. We're going to release another fun little podcast after this one that's going to be us all drunken and having a good time. So please check out that. We're on Stitcher, Spotify, Google,
iTunes,
Music, iTunes, everything. Share with your friends and family. We want to build more.
And let us sleep in your bed.
Yeah, and let us sleep.
We do this for you.
just let the boys sleep in your bed. Yeah. Let me sleep in your bed.
You're not sleeping in it.
I won't do nothing to it.
Let me move in with you.
I won't eat any bed.
For the love of God, let the boy move in with you.
You are bastards.
Yo, this has been Duck. I've been here with
Jake
and
the Hobbs.
And thank you so much for listening.
And B.
Oh, and B. You probably heard her.
Probably.
Yeah. There's a little. We're gonna go watch Wedlock.
Wedlock. Deadlock.
Wedlock.
And there it is. Thank you so much for checking out the podcast today. If you have enjoyed it, please do not forget, share with your friends. That is how we grow the network. And if this is your first time listening, head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, iTunes, and give We Are Podcast a like. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, you're going to love the other podcast here on the We Are Podcast Network. We have We Are Bagu, a video game podcast featuring me and Dr. Ethan Eastwood. That's where we talk Atari to Steam and everything in between. Don't forget Heroes Gyros, a Dungeons and Distraction side quest. Me and the boys were sitting down, we're playing some D&D, we're having so much fun. You can go and start that from the beginning of the journey, Season 1, Episode 1. You're going to love it all the way through. And finally, I Hate Being Sober. Personal stories from epic people. I'm going to sit down with some of the most epic people I've ever met in this world, and we're going to talk about their life, we're going to talk about their trials and tribulations, and we're just going to talk about their journey this far. Head on over to our social media. All links can be found in the description. You can find us at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /WeArePodcast. Also, head over to the Facebook group, We Are Era. We would love to see you in that group. And don't forget, if you've enjoyed the podcast today, share it with your friends. That's the only way we can grow this network. With that said, do not forget, support local comedy in any way that you can. We really do appreciate it. We'll see you next time.